So, what did Khadija do to this statement, or what did she say in response to this statement? When he said, I'm afraid for myself, she made a very profound statement that's quoted many times that shows the high standard of character and high morals that the Messenger ﷺ was upon. She said, Kalla wallahi ma yahzunka Allahu abadan. And in one narration of Bukhari, ma yukhzika Allahu abadan. And when I mention the differing of the narrations, I'm talking about the nusakh, the manuscripts of Sahih al-Bukhari, which are many, and many of them are based on narrations. That one narration is narrated this way, and it's also narrated a second way. One meaning is that she said, nay, never would Allah forsake you. And in one possible understanding, never would Allah make you sad. Never would Allah allow you to become sad. Abadan, ever. إِنَّكَ لَتَصِلُ الرَّحِمِ. You keep family ties. You're a person who keeps the family ties. وَتَحْمِلُ الْكَلِّ. And you help the poor and the destitute. وَتُكْسِبُ الْمَعْدُومِ, or وَتَكْسِبُ الْمَعْدُومِ. And what we can translate as, you offer the people the help that they don't find with anyone else. وَتُكْسِبُ النَّاسَ الْمَعْدُومِ. You're giving the people help and assistance in a way that they never find with anyone else other than you. So you are exemplary in the way that you help the people. وَتَقْرِ الضَّيْفِ. And you serve your guests generously. وَتُعِينُ عَلَى نَوَائِبِ الْحَقِّ. And you assist in all affairs that are in the way of the truth. You assist others in all of the affairs that help the establishment of good and upright things. So, as the scholar said, she described him with every type of good character that relates to close relatives and people who are not from his family, and actions done with his money and actions done by hand. All of those things are included in the way she praised him. That she praised him with every type of good character. And from this you understand the permissibility of praising someone to their face in a time of need. In a time of need, and many scholars said, especially on one's deathbed, so that someone will have husnul dhan billah. When someone is dying, there's an exemption. You generally don't praise someone to their faces. But when someone's on their deathbed and they're dying, you say, oh, you've done such and such, you've fed so many poor people, you prayed in the masjid for years, may Allah give us good endings in our lives. You've prayed in the masjid for so many years, you've gave so much charity. When you mention these things, the person starts thinking about the reward now. My life is over, it's behind me. He starts having lots of raja, having lots of hope for what Allah has. And this is the time for hope. When a person might, at this time, become full of despair. He might think about his sins on his deathbed. Oh, Allah is not going to forgive me. I've done so many horrible things. And this is a time when you try to cheer them up and try to turn them towards raja, turn them towards hope. And that's when the scholars say you have hope, is in times of illness or times of ihtidar, when you're dying, times of distress. You have hope in the mercy of Allah. And when you have salama and safety, then you have fear. That's when you should take on the idea of being afraid of the punishment of Allah. And that is something we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to grant us, that we live with hope and fear, hoping for His mercy and fearing His punishment. So here, she was reminding him in the state of weakness, the state of human weakness, that no, rather Allah Azza wa Jal will not abandon you. He will not forsake you, and He will not allow you to grieve. And that shows that even in this time before prophethood, that Khadija was a woman of tawheed, a woman of upright character, a woman of support, a great woman, the best wife for this situation. And the scholars say, when they talk about who was his best and most virtuous wife, the correct position with the best tafsir is that Khadija was the best wife for the time period he was married to her in. For the support and the aid and the backing that she gave him in the time of need that he had, financially, in this situation as well, all situations, she provided that support that he needed in that time of his life. And then later in his life, his favorite wife was Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, the narrator of this story or this authentic account. So Khadija was the best wife for him during this time. And it shows, look at her character, look at the way she supported him, look at how she mentioned the things that he needed to hear and that would help him in his time of need.